Okay, hey everybody, welcome to this evening stream. Nice to see there's quite a few of you. There's sort of 12 people already here, which is pretty good. Sounds like Discord might be down, so perhaps that's the reason you're here. So you're more than welcome to hang out here and chat with us this evening. So basically what we're going to be doing is, I figured actually, we spent a lot of time the last few days at the studio basically looking through the Build Jam submissions and sort of comparing them and contrasting them. And as we're going through, I'm sort of seeing how we've really ended up with a really great mix of the sort of games, of the sort of packages that could make some pretty cool games. So if people haven't already, I'd highly recommend checking out the package guides that are available on the forum to basically just see what sort of games you could create. So I'm going to have a go at doing one tonight from a set of various packages I've picked. And I will say, obviously, the packages I pick aren't necessarily winners or anything like that. I'm not trying to showcase anything that we think is necessarily the best. I'm basically just going to pick the ones that I think kind of fit together quite nicely. So yeah, don't take anything I'm doing tonight as a sign of what may or may not win, which we're hopefully going to be announcing tomorrow. We're currently working on a video which should hopefully come together and be ready for you tomorrow for the sort of a big announcement of who's won. So yeah, let us know in chat if you have been using the packages and which one your favourites are, and sort of games that you're perhaps working on now that you've got access to the Dungeon Master packages. But it was a really successful game jam, actually. It's been incredible to see how many people took part. We've had about, I think there's just over 50 submissions, which is pretty crazy for a build jam, especially one that was only running for 4 days. So yeah, massive congratulations to everybody again who took part. And the ultimate winner at the end of the day is the community that's got access to these amazing packages. So that's what we're hopefully going to be showcasing here this evening. So I'm going to start off in the hub, and as always I'm going to jump in and start a game afresh. So if you did fancy building along, then that's great. Let me know in chat if you are building along. If not, then just here for the ride, and that's also great. Yeah, so we are going to go in and we're going to create a I'm thinking I'm going to do a team CTF. Now I always quite enjoy doing capture the flag, because I feel like the game mode lends itself to some interesting kind of map level design mechanics, and some of the the packages that we've seen people create were like tile sets. So I'm going to perhaps mix a couple of tile sets to build a bit of a ETF map, and then throw in some various other mechanics. So things like, I'm trying to think about maybe getting Odyssey's dice roller in here, maybe the Mighty RPG stats. Probably also going to take a look at the Dry Coast Time Lord. You start mixing all these things together, and you've suddenly got some interesting gameplay mechanics sort of thrown in without doing a huge amount of code. I'll probably have to do some code to get things to behave with each other, or add my own kind of flavor to stuff. But ultimately, a lot of this I'm imagining is going to be a package-based game. I'm going to call it Dungeon Runner for now, because I'm imagining it's going to be a pretty sort of tight, close quarters kind of game. So yeah, if anyone in chat, as I say, if you do have any questions about Crayta, or if you have any kind of questions about the editor itself, what I can try and do while I'm streaming here is explain various things I'm doing, or I'll probably talk through as I'm doing it anyway. But we do have a new stream starting up. It didn't happen yesterday because Andy was off, but we're hoping to kickstart a kind of tutorial stream every Monday. So if you are looking for very kind of tutorialized streams where it'll be very specific about a subject, then do make sure you tune in on the Mondays. Head over to Discord, discord.gg/Crayta, to basically reach out to Andy and let him know what sort of things you'd like to see on a Monday sort of tutorial stream. Right, okay, so I'm in my capture the flag, which obviously, as always, we know starts with the base logic I need to get a capture the flag game mode going. So what I'm going to do first, I think, is establish a map, and I'm going to try and do this in a way that kind of keeps the map symmetrical. It's not going to be mirrored per se, but I'm going to try and basically build it all off of one template and then have that template mirrored on the other side. I was thinking about this while I was walking to pick my daughter up earlier. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do it, but we'll kind of run with it. As always on these Tuesday streams, I haven't really spent a lot of time practicing and planning this, so we're going to just kind of wing it as we go, see where we end up. But that's part of the joy of Crayta, right? Is you've got the freedom to sort of just noodle along and build. You don't have to have huge amounts of planning. Kind of a lot of it just simply just work, which is nice. This Dry Coast fellow made a cool package. Yeah, the Time Lord one is really cool. Like, First time I saw that, it was one of those like it kind of I can't I never would have thought to do that. And it's a really really neat package. So we'll get to that sort of gameplay stuff a little bit later. I think one of the first ones I'm going to take is, and this is where I should have probably made notes of the Dungeon Master Asset Pack by CC Creations. Now this is a really cool one actually. I really like this file set because it comes with a kind of an arrow drawn on top. I don't know if people have seen this. So if you are using this tile set as an indoor environment primarily, which I imagine most of the dungeons would be, you get these really cool sort of well explained areas. So for example, this one, from above I can instantly see if this is the main route and there's a door here and a door here, and on a lot of the doors I've got these little kind of bits sticking up, and I'm not sure how deliberate that was, but what it does is it makes it really nice and easy to sort of copy and paste. And then I could spin this round, and then if I line these up, I know that I'm going to get a really well lined up kind of doorway inside, and then straight away I get this kind of really nicely lit. The lighting in this is great, and really nicely kind of dressed up hallway. It just simply drag and drop, and as I say, they've got this really nice arrow system. So for example, if I want to drop a key junction at the end, you say I've got these little like node bits on top that can help me sort of line up doors roughly. And straight away that would find that a little bit actually. There we go. Yeah, and they got this nice sort of three-way bit, and you can build up like a nice dungeon network. So I'm imagining building kind of a bit of a shooter out of this sort of space. I might make it a first-person shooter, given that it is going to be slightly cramped, close quarters. Kind of taking that player away from the screen gives you a little bit more sort of room to play with, which is always good. Yeah, cool. So, okay, so what I might do, let me just delete these three. Well, I'm going to have to be careful of the entity count because, with these tile sets, it can very quickly grow to be much bigger than you wanted it to be. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to place everything under a locator, make that a template, and then put a second version of the map on the other side. So basically have the map in two halves. And then if I update one half of the map, I can update the template and reflect that change on the other side. And for a CTF, I think it's quite important to make sure that your map is, where possible, as symmetrical and fair as possible, because you don't really want one team to have a big map advantage for attacking or defending a flag. It's always important to keep CTF relatively kind of mirrored or symmetrical, whichever way works best. Obviously, slight things can change, the decor or the theme or stuff, but I think if the general structure is the same, I think that's a really important start. So I'll build a little map out of this tile set, and then we'll kind of go from there. Anyone else having problems with Crayta servers? Also, mine keeps timing out. Is it timing out randomly, or is it timing out? I'm wondering if it's something on the server that's crashing. I mean, it's worth keeping an eye on your console. Say timing out console. Yeah, let us know if it's sort of random. The best bet might be to reach out with as much information as you can on the forum in the bug reports, or just shout it out into Discord. Right. Create a data. Map locator. Okay. So create file. Imagining most of these come up. Yeah, they're already locators. So let's. Oh, and they're really nicely named here as well. So, Courtyard 2x2 boss room. Makes for an interesting centerpiece for the map. cool. Okay, let's go with that, and then what we can start to do is drag in other little bits. So maybe if we go for a straight 1 by 1 little courtyard off of that. To a T-junction. Bench. Okay, so I mean, I'm wondering if, like, yeah, we'll kind of loop around, so there's like 2 corridors kind of either side of that. Randomly, whether I'm in preview or edit. Interesting. Are you on EGS or Stadia? I wonder if there's some. Like, is there any chance your local network is dropping, perhaps? Something like that. Yeah, I guess if you lose internet temporarily, that might kick you out, but not kick you out of the game. I think your best bet, if you are really struggling, is to reach out via the forum. If you can get your logs, if you reach out on Discord, so I think someone can help you out over there. But you should be able to get your if you're on EGS, get your local sort of client logs to send that to the help desk, and then they can sort of start to diagnose what the problem might be from there. We want a order. Another one of those on the side. These arrows just make this so much easier to understand. You know, from above you get a really nice, clear idea of the map. It's really cool. A couple of straights here, maybe like another intersection bit there. So we want a straight 1. It's funny how your perspective thinks. You think you're lined up, and then you change your angle, and miles off. These doors. It looks cool inside, though. I think. Yeah, go with that. Right, and then if I can put a 3 on here. I wanted to just mix up a little bit. So if this one, connect those 2 corridors. Bench. grey bench in it. So the nice thing with this sort of tile set is you can kind of guarantee that things are just going to fit well. So I guess if this can sort of loop around in some way to like a central point here where the flank could live, we'll have a similar thing on the other side, and then that's our sort of base for the map then. There we go, so longer. Ah, cool. This one, interestingly, so it's got some like decent sort of line of sight blocking stuff already, because obviously with the shooter you don't really want to have huge lines of sight all the time. That's all right because I guess there's kind of doorways in the middle, and like this is quite cool because there's sort of a natural line of sight break there. Let's make that a corner. Right, so I wonder if I could make like this bit of courtyard area here perhaps, and that's where it lives. So the thing is, so see about doing another let me just check the entity count. Okay, 700, that's alright. So bearing in mind this is going to double to be the majority of the map, I think 700 so far is alright. Ooh, I've just been copying. Oh, I've just been copying the names. I think that's okay actually, because I don't really necessarily want every room fully decorated with stuff. Okay, yeah. So where I've just been clicking, copy and pasting, it's not grabbing all the stuff in the. Well, I think that's okay. Makes the world tree a little bit unneat. So what courtyard option? Courtyard L shape. Okay, and then another. Awesome. Okay, cool. So let's just have a little run around basic mode. But essentially, I mean, in what, 21 minutes, I've managed to create a pretty decent looking chunk of a map. Add some gameplay into it. Feels like there's quite a few little routes. Get through this area, which is where we'll have the center point to fight through, I guess. That side. So let's see how successful this is. If I was to template all of this up. Wondering if maybe I don't include this bit. Unparent that. Just have all of that side of it. And then that's the center point that both things come from. I think that makes more sense. Okay, got my instant map locator. Now I should be whole second in. Nice, cool. The reason I've done that is I can sort of not have to repeat work now because we've got kind of our laid out level and then our other side. So if I, for example, change this room to rotate that way around, obviously that makes sense. What I can do is take this locator, copy that template. Should see over on this side. Server. No, okay, it's a bit slow, but we can see now, okay, cool. So the one on this side is now also done the same. So I can basically make sure that any changes I make to the structure of that part of the map will be reflected to this side. Sorry if I'm off topic here, but I think Discord is having an outage. Yeah, I think a few people before were saying that. So thankfully the stream's okay so far. I think we're not being affected on the Google side, YouTube and all that. So yeah, I think we're okay here. So feel free to hang out here instead of Discord. You know, get plenty of chat going and let us know the sort of things you're working on in Crayta. How many voxels high is this package from floor to ceiling? It is 30 voxels high. We're probably going to have... Oh, I wonder why it's being so slow. It's because I've still got the entire map locator on my cursor. Okay. I'm still going to have to be careful a little bit, I think, about things like shadow casting lights. So shadow casting lights are a big thing to be aware of when you're making games in Crayta. So well within my entity limit, that's fine. But notice I've got a lot of lights that are casting shadows, which are fine. The only problem you'll find with that is if you are sort of having those shadow casting lights overlap with other shadow casting lights, it really starts to slow down the game. Get a lot of sort of performance issues back of that. So for example, all of these braziers are casting shadows. So if we just take a quick look at the light itself, so we can see that both of these lights are shadow casting and their overall area, they are overlapping slightly. So I think, is brazier I think the braziers might be a template themselves. layers. Yeah, cool. So what happens if we pull in the attenuation to something like 600? That might be enough to just get those to not quite overlap anymore. Obviously that's going to have a knock-on effect to the lighting itself. I mean, there's still overlap. Quite as much. At least, you know, these two here are not quite overlapping. These two will be. I mean, what you can do in that sense is start to go through and think about, okay, well, maybe if this one didn't cast a shadow, does that make a huge difference? That one doesn't, but you know, in the heat of the moment, our player is going to notice that, and then all of a sudden, I've kind of eliminated these two from being overlapped. So maybe that's a little quick change I'm making. It's all these little conscious decisions that you can make that really start to help kind of performance stay at sort of 60 frames or much higher than it could be. Especially when you're playing a shooter or something, the last thing you want is like frames to suddenly start like dipping in and out of certain rooms, because it really starts to break the experience of like the gunfights and the firefights and stuff the players are having in that sort of heat of action. If you really start to get a low frame rate, you're really going to kind of struggle to have players enjoy the experience. Are they all rendered even when not looking? Is that the lights? I believe so. I mean, obviously there's a lot goes on under the engine with Crayta. I think lights will slow down your sort of local client frame rate when you're looking particularly at them. But I think they can have an adverse effect on the server itself, because the servers have to do a lot of calculation. Sort of unlink those, they're not overlapping, and the opposite two corners aren't casting shadows, which, you know, as I say, in the heat of a running shooter, they're still nice lights. They don't make a huge amount of difference to not be casting shadows. Going to help 5 again. We've got, so if I right this way, so if I unlink that, copy that. So any instance or any instance of this castle corner 4. Now we're gonna just go for opposite lights. No shadow. We'll see if things start to slow down and get bad at any point. Right, so that's enough of that. So we've basically managed to design our map pretty quickly. In half an hour, we've got a pretty large open map. So let's get the things I need in flag 1 and flag 1. Another thing to consider with after the flag is that you're going to want to make sure you've got your spawns and your flags in smart places. So having the flag away from the spawn is good, because you don't want players to spawn where the flag is, because then they're essentially able to spawn and kill any attackers instantly. You kind of need the flag to be between the center of the map and the spawn point. So it gives an attacking team the chance to kill defenders, get the flag and escape. You don't really want them to be spawning between, you know, red. So, for example, a blue player shouldn't spawn between blue flag and red base, because then they're going to cut off any attackers. And little things like that to always consider with capture the flag, which I always think is pretty interesting design challenge to us. wondering if I can change this to be something that fits holding flag a bit better. Yeah, if I change this to be the altar perhaps. And then let's just copy template. So again, I know that on the other side of the map, that's now going to change. Now, instead of a flag, there'll only be something else. So I'm happy, you know, in chat, let me know what you think, what we could be capturing here. Flag works quite nicely, but it doesn't feel very fantasy. Red flag. Also going to have a little play with a kind of weapon perhaps. Rather than machine guns, we'll kind of want some dungeon based fantasy. Okay, red flag. Maybe a light in here would be. Just to sort of sell it a bit more as the red area. Wonder if there's something I can do in these rooms to make them clearer. Like, what I might do is change the banners on the other side to be blue, but not have that as a copy change. So make sure that they kind of stay blue, so you can kind of make it clear when you're on the red team or the red side or the blue. Copy these though, so I can get my red light over here, but obviously that blue. World lighting is the first thing I change up. Yeah, it's a good point actually. I'm probably going to need to change the world lighting up a little bit, given that we have got some outside bits. I feel like it'd be a little bit darker and moody, and I guess that's also going to have a inside. So yeah, let's have a look at what we can do to change the way the wood looks. I guess first, look, I haven't got any out. Can't really see out the sides, can you? It's up. I don't have to worry about the hook. That. But purely down to what it looked like from here, for example. Maybe gemstones or other fantasy world type items. Yeah, I'm wondering if there's something specific, like maybe orbs. I'm trying to think, it has to be something that looks like, you know, you can attach to the player and they carry away. Sometimes we have a problem, you know, where like if it's the orb's great, but you can't really stick the orb on the player's back. It looks odd. Is there a crown? Ooh, maybe it could be like a steel hat on the player. Glowing skulls. Might go for like a night time. The one thing I've been in recently is rather than like making nighttime out of night is almost having like a really low intense sun. Creating like a night, like a really gloomy night where that's kind of dark in here. Shadow. sort of want to make sure I highlight like the lighting in here. Nicely enough, and then you come out here and it kind of, because this is all very blue, like sort of like turquoise, and to come out here feels quite nice because it's a little bit warmer and cleaner. Kind of got that instant change feel. I wonder if I need to make these lights red. It all feels very, and you got that very clear red side, blue while. I think that's going to be work, isn't it? Imagine coming to this side, seeing different colours. Copy that. I mean, I could make a different template. How long this is going to take. Probably a smarter way to do this, but I feel like they're already templates, so you know, making a new template for the red side, I'd have to go and change all the braziers anyway. I'm definitely just on the right side, aren't I? Red side. Can bump up the skylight to penetrate through the walls and keep the night sky. Yeah, it's true. I think, yeah, having that sort of like golden hour colour, quite nice. Multi-editing, that's a nice thing. Maybe one day we'll get, you know, multiple entities, take them all. Okay. One of the nice things with Crayta as well is the instant sort of response you get. You know, working in real time lighting. You know, it's one of those things that a lot of people who make games in Crayta but haven't made games outside of Crayta, you know, might take for granted. But the ability to just kind of click a light, change its color, and see in real time that light update is a really powerful thing. You know, typically you'd be waiting for light maps to rebake. You've got all sorts of different things, you know, that you spend with. But the fact that anybody in this editor session, you know, can in real time see the light change, yeah, it's pretty cool. Hey, Echo Rock. No worries, you didn't miss much. I'm just currently on my mammoth task updating a bunch of different lights. Makes for really good viewing. I can't even change like some of the templates and then copy to template. It's going to do it on the other side of the map. I feel like I might have shot myself in the foot with this whole, you know, map locator thing. Oh no, the fire's blue. Oh well, we'll leave the fire. Fire can be blue, but the light can be red. All of these red lights are going to be slightly different as well. You may be making template would be quicker, and then just deleting it crazy and placing. They all look like an interesting angle though. It's not like a case of just I'd have to rotate. I feel like we're almost there. We're almost there, and it's worth it. I think again, CTF, it's kind of important to make sure your maps have got like their own flavor, so you can kind of have like a symmetry. So you've got two sides of the map that are essentially symmetrical, but having like its own theme, its own thing, helps players understand which half of the map they're in. Especially because the map can, you know, look the same and should essentially look the same in terms of layout. I think having something to distinguish, okay, you're in the red half, you're in the blue half, you know, which way do I need to go? It can be a really important thing, signposting. And one of the awards we did for the Build Jam was the Best Use of Lighting award. Both halves got that. Oh. A little dead end there. But yeah, so one of the awards we did was for best lighting, and you know the idea there is we really wanted people to look at kind of the use of lighting. So it's not just about how, you know, aesthetically lighting can make things look great. It was kind of, you know, a really good chance for people to use lighting in a way that is kind of quite powerful in terms of like guiding players through a level, or essentially showing, you know, kind of this is gameplay hints perhaps because of the color of the lighting. So you know, it's a really important part of game building is thinking about what the lighting is doing, and you know, it's a great thing to make levels look really good. One, you know, beauty of being on engine is we get this really kind of powerful lighting that we can lean on with Crayta, especially, you know, coming into all the real-time stuff I was talking about before. Okay, I think we might have done the full loop. So I just want to fix. Okay. I need to fix that center bit that had a hole in it. Again, the really useful arrows should have pointed that out to me. There we go, so I can see the big gap here. I think there was a dead end. Yeah, Castle Dungeon dead end. Good in theory, just a lot nicer. Oh, yes, that's like a nice little. And to be honest, that could probably form where my spawn is, because that keeps my spawn away flag, and it kind of follows the rules I was saying. You know, we spawn here, the flag's here, go that way. So basically, you're never going to have players that are spawning. Maybe I could take it one step further actually and have them spawn here. So you've got to run that a little bit further. Makes sense. So players spawn here. If an attacker grabs his flag, there's a little bit of a gap between where the defenders are going to spawn and the grabbing the flag from. So little things like that can really help kind of keep the gameplay more interesting, more fun. It stops players from just kind of being shot straight away. As soon as someone spawns in front of them, it kind of breaks it up. Later stream, but glad you're enjoying the package. Don't forget to use the throne room template. Intrigued. Throne room 3x3. Let me just check this out. So again, by using a template, you can see that that change is automatically applied on the other side of the map. So it's just, you know, cutting out the amount of work I've got to do, other than, you know, now having to come through and make these lights red. Okay, that's that. So right, let's check out this throne room. Oh, this is a big piece. Like that's got to be where the flag is. That's a really cool room for like sort of shootouts. There's like plenty of ways out as well by the looks of it. Okay, right. Slight map redesign. How many entities is that? Looks like I think we've got room. Okay, right. Let's have a think about this. So I can keep this little courtyard bit. Maybe if I make this A3. Okay. Okay, you throw me through a loop here, right? So go and update on. I think if we make this a 3. I just want the terrain here. I don't want all the bits inside it, just so I can count down. Okay, so we can keep the same idea. We've now opened up this hole, which let's just go. Okay. Okay, that's spawning. It's a bit heavy on the entities, but hopefully shouldn't cause too much lag. Only a few. Okay, right, let's see. Server missing when I try to install it is a good start. I mean, I'm not spawning it at runtime or anything. It's going to be there, so it shouldn't matter too much about you know, how slow it is now. I mean, I'm hoping. So is there? Oh, there's so many ways in and out. Okay, I might have to block a lot of those off. Just get sort of manageable. Okay. Slide it in a bit. Okay, going go across one. Ended up on half grid snap. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so I could probably put this. If the spawn is still there, still got that like big bit between. I feel like this is just too cool not to use. But I will need some more dead ends. Or these. Or I might just use static. And I'm very slow to add stuff to. What I might do, instead of adding more meshes, I mean, I could just it like block walls that way. I think that's. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's just a shame not to use the room as the main room. Is that stairs to nowhere? It doesn't make a huge amount of sense, but no, not everything in castles. And that's one of the nice things again about using packages in Crayta is you're not tied to whatever you get. You do have the freedom to essentially update and change as much of it as you like. You sort of just get the package to play with. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 things to block off. Block that one. Okay, yes, I think we're good. So this thrown on there. Go to you. This. Okay. I like the teleport. Oh, in fact, no, let's not break anything. Okay. Oh, right. So, in theory, then, if I go back, we should get a second throne room in the world. Yeah, cool. Right now, let's check our world. 4,000 entity. Okay, we are pushing it. However, I'm not going to be adding anything else. I mean, I've already said that once, but that should be our level now. Ah, that's coat of arms. Yeah, that looks cool. Okay, right, yeah. Let's move those flags. Okay, there's a blue flag on that one. You could remove the stairs later. Yeah, I could remove the stairs. I think that would make more sense. I did have all these grand plans of doing all sorts of packages. I've spent an hour playing with this one alone. But hopefully, people can appreciate how easy it is with these tile sets. We saw a really great one from Little Creator. We've seen simple modular dungeon by Hisakan. There's tons of generators to play with to kind of give you a generated dungeon. Pretty cool. Right, let's see. Right, where's my spawn points? I'm going to put some spawn points in, and then I'm going to kind of like a little run around to see how well this performs when we're end. I think team 2 is red. I think that's how that works. Oh, it is. Locator's red. So that needs to go really colour coordinate. I did already red. Okay, red needs to go in the root here. It's worth paying attention whenever you're doing a locator that's a spawn point. This little arrow at the front determines the front forward facing of the locator, and that's the direction the player is going to spawn in. Obviously, if this was facing this way, our players would spawn facing the dragon. Actually, you probably want them to be facing the doorway, so it's worth paying attention to having those things when you're positioning kind of spawn points on the map. Right, okay, let's just hit play. Let's see. Hopefully, I've just not spent an hour making a game that's not going to perform very well. Hopefully, it at least loads. That'd be a good start. What I will probably start doing is just pulling some of the meshes that are in here. Like, I think it's always going to load. I think it's just becoming a big, heavy game. We have a 5,000 entity limit with 3,000 extra for things spawned at runtime. So essentially, you've got 8,000 to play with. We're at a kind of pushing 4,200 here. We're getting towards the upper limits of what Crayta can handle. However, it is running pretty smooth, and it's always worth having a little play before you get too far into it. Make sure that everything works. Before you get into the nitty-gritty of adding a bit more gameplay stuff, it's good to check that the map still behaves. I can see that I'm getting pretty solid frames about in the throne room. Nice, yep, rock solid average frame length. Good, we get the odd little hitch here and there. Oh, if we aim down sights, we get load. I was thinking about playing it first person, help with the white corridors. I think that's good. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. That seems to be performing pretty nicely. Our results. Let's move that. If you put the spawn tile higher up with a drop down, inaccessible, where you can make a very simple spawn cam protection. That's a very good point, actually. Yeah, I've not really taken into account the fact that you could spawn camp here. Yeah, I might do that. I might make like if I raise it, as you say, then you can kind of drop down into a courtyard. That might be a good way to go about that. What we're saying is if this up, and there probably is, wondering if there is a tile there goes here. If not, I could make a copy of one. There isn't. Okay, that's no problem. A stairwell would be a nice addition, perhaps. Okay. So let's see how he had one. So if I make this duplicate train 1, 2, 3, you call this stairs. Okay, so let's cut a hole in the. Now what we can do is make hole where I need that half and then right here. Okay, let's see how well this goes. Everyone knows. Oh. Might just try this the old hot pipe. Something like that, because then I kind of want to break the stairs away, because we obviously don't want people to be able to get up into it. If people are spawn camping, you just attack them site, the height of the fan. Okay, something like that. And then the spawn will go up there instead. Oh, I mean, hopefully that's all carried across to the side. It's one of the joys of if you get your templates right, if you can kind of get the system of templates right, you get a really nice sort of like workflow where you can kind of make changes in one place and then only ever happen things once. Cool, so give me your copy. Yeah, that looks pretty safe. Cool. Right, so where are we at? 8:05. So yeah, I guess we could have a look at adding some gameplay to here now. Okay, I haven't changed the lights yet. Thought I just changed a bunch of lights in the wrong place then. Okay, cool. Right, so let's have a look at. I think one thing I want to add is the Time Lord a bit by Crayta, because that's a really straightforward, easy one to add. Technically very clever, very cool thing to add, and there's actually a huge amount of use for this. You know, it could be used in obbies, it could be used in platformers, time trials, shooters, a whole host of different puzzles. You can make some pretty cool puzzles from this. It's like you could perhaps have a player get past an obstacle, shut a door behind them, open a door somewhere else, you then rewind time back through that door. You know, you can use it to traverse terrain that is now blocked, and you know, there's a lot of really cool ideas of what. I mean, installation is very easy. We just go player, rewind ability player. Now I've already got the health package installed. One thing I did notice is you need to have the health package installed as well. Otherwise it throws an error. That's Crayta if you're there. If you haven't already fixed that, it might be worth just guarding against the player not having the health tool. Let's try go on there. You get a load of interesting kind of really good ways to customize it. So lots of different properties, how long cooldown is, button they need to press, which I think interact is fine because it's not going to interact for anything. All the different kind of things you'd want to do. You know, what sort of sounds, what sort of post process plays, stuff like that. So I guess let's play with the rewind post process. So tilt shift is pretty cool. Blue accent, I might change that to be like super color. It really kind of pull out the colors of the world. That will look quite interesting. And we'll leave the rest as it is there. So that's what we need. We need to drag that onto the player. That should just work. Let's see. Hit play. Check all that still behaves as it should. Because of the size of my world, now we are going to have this slight issue getting between preview quickly. Hopefully it's worth it. I think the size of the map. Hopefully I've not made it too big. That's a big thing with games. Is quite easy to get carried away with the scale, so it might be that I need to pare it down slightly. Okay, cool. So I've started up in this room. I could add like a lobby door. So you get to start up here, and then when the lobby starts, people get out of that bit. Well, that sort of works. But yeah, so you can see that bar filling up at the bottom. So if I now hold E, get this like really cool wind effect. The cooldown for 20 seconds. You can see it went super color, so it's taken that change. And that's it. You know, that's taken me literally drag and drop. Got this pretty cool mechanic that allows players to sort of escape from firefights easy, or it might be that you can capture the flag and rewind your position a bunch to get like ahead the path. You know, that's a pretty cool, interesting way to be able to use it as well. Let's go back. That works. That's good. If anyone has any ideas for what I can add to this from other packages that were part of the build jam, then let me know. Wondering if there's any traps. So another package I was thinking is something around the Mighty RPG, which kind of gives you the ability to have stats that are saved against the player. So things you'd expect, like dexterity, strength, intelligence, they're all completely customizable. So you can change different elements, different fire, wind, air, water. It could be whatever fits the sort of game you're making. It's the system's there for you to update it, which is quite cool. So I'm wondering if there's a way I could incorporate this into it somehow. I'm thinking there might be, maybe I could make some weapon pickups that you have to level up enough to be able to use. Maybe it could be like a MOBA style, so it's like it resets every round. So I might download that package and it'll play with that. Love the rewind mechanic, would be so great for puzzles. Exactly, you know, it's a really simple package to use, and there's a really huge amount of kind of use cases for it, which is cool. One small addition that I'm adding: if you add a number property for time rewind limit, replace the hard code of 500 for that, you can and they can rewind. Oh, I see. So you can kind of, your buffer that you're saving up be reduced. That could be quite interesting actually, because in this game, you know, might not want them to be able to go too far back. So let's have a little quick look at that. So what did we say? It is time rewind. Of course, I'm looking for the property then literally. Okay, there's those two places where you've got 500. Let's test it. So self.property. So we say time rewind limit. And then if we add that, okay. So again, you know, I've done some voxel editing of a package. Now, you know, when you download a package, you do get all the scripts as well. So nothing stopping you from adding your own twist to scripts, which is, you know, a really good way to learn coding. Is to take a package of something that you think is really cool, break down the scripts, and start to learn from that. So everything that is part of that package is for you to sort of put apart and play with. Let's say default 250, so we're going to halve that. And then that's now replaced those two 500s. That should work. So yeah, we'll test that next time we go play. I'm not going to try and play too much because I'm aware of slightly slow jump between the two. So what's the latest in Mighty? So we've got Mighty Lasers, Kinematics, Animation, Spider, Crowd, Mighty RPG. Okay, so this one adds the core functionality for an RPG. Like I said, so I think what I'm going to try and do is maybe have it so each round you can level up a bit. And I think this might come with some weapons as well that will kind of perhaps form the basis of the weapons game. Character players. Mighty RPG item. So let's see. We filter this by MRP. Photo. Or is it? Oh wait, no, it's not a mesh. It's a code requirement. Always really nicely formatted code from Mighty. Okay, well let's see what I can set up on player. So we have MRPG player, so I'm guessing when I want to drag that across the player. Level up stuff. Also got stuff for the user, so this will be persistent. RPG user. There we go. And what does this is? Gives us some UI. Set up persist progress. Okay, so I could say there we go. That's straightforward. Something I can uncheck. A leveling counts. Cool. What I'm thinking I might be able to do here is add it so, like, you know, when we get kills and stuff, start to give you XP and actions. How did you just select the whole previous word when selecting text? How do you just select the whole previous word? So like that, like where I'm dragging and it's selecting the whole word. That's what you mean. So if I just click and drag, that's obviously going to just do like that. If you double click a word and keep the mouse held down, so double click and keep it held, that selects the whole word, and then any selection you do selects the whole words at a time, which I think is like a standard text editor thing, because I'm sure that's what I do in other things like Notepad++, which is probably why I've just done it. The other thing is if you hold Control click, gives you the whole word. So I think as Audis is saying, so yeah, if I do like, if you press hold Control and Shift, yeah, so if you hold Control Shift and do the arrows on a keyboard, then you're selecting higher words at a time. So like if I wanted to delete, for example, from there, I can hold Control and Shift and press right a couple of times, like all of that. I think that's what I did. Sometimes I do things like, you know, so muscle memory that I've probably forgotten little hints. But yeah, it would have been either like a double click, drag, or a Control Shift and using the arrow keys. Okay, cool. Right, so I've got those two things. What I'm just going to do quickly, I'm just going to fire up a web browser to get me a I want to open up the forum to basically have a look at how this package is used properly. So if we go package guides, okay, so all of the packages are available here on the forum. I look for RPG. I believe there was a maybe. Oh, there it is. Mighty RPG, there it is, cool. Okay, so there's a demo world, so there's a showcase for this, which is really cool. But let's have a look. So setup, add these two things on your player and user. So I've done that. You can find available attributes within the user setup available character attribute. Okay, that's fine. I don't know about changing the attributes. What I'm going to do is see about adding a kind of a limit to an item. So to make your RPG to work with the weapon, you need to add MRPG item to weapon. Currently only supports gun and axe package. Allow you to create and custom. Okay. Define requirement. So how do I define requirement? String format ID where ID attribute identifier and the value. Okay, cool. I think I get that. So okay, that makes sense. So let me just go back. Game. Cool. Okay, so I think what we're saying is if I get my create a new type of gun, crossbow. Okay, so here let's go gun. Okay, instance of gun. So I'm going to make this actually a new template based on. Or do that. Let's update the gun to have this package. I drag that on, okay, and then we've basically got this script folder on the gun already, and this will basically determine if whether we can gun or not. So this base value is not going to have any limitation. Let's copy that to template. Let's make a new template for this one. This will be my gun for crossbow. Okay, edit up in here. So pickup trigger, yeah, I want to keep the pickup trigger because I want it to be a pickup on the map, and I'm thinking you pick it up, but it might be something you might use right level. Probably try and keep it like round base, so you have to do quite well through the round to suddenly start using the better weapons, stuff like that. Kind of makes the gameplay a bit more interesting. So drag there slightly. Okay, damage fall off. So there's not many things to change. Heat timer. Shots per clip 1 gets us the behavior we want. That should be fine for now. Crossbow in there, hold it like a rifle. Basic crossbow, maybe we could do different types of crossbow that do different things. Okay, so what we need to do now is determine whether the player can actually use this. So let's go to here and requirement. So for the first one, let's say you need to have a dexterity of 15. So I'm going to do dex, 15. If I look at my user deck under setup. Okay. Oh, I sneezed out of nowhere. At least I managed to mute in time. Okay, so we can see here that the system's using strength, dex, and constitution. The things, maybe I'll link constitution into the health script to give you health. That'd be quite cool. So, dex is my label. If I go back to my crossbow, we can see that I've given it a requirement of needing to be level dex. So, in theory, if I pick this up now, it's not going to allow me to use it. Okay. You must. What I might do is just have a quick little play with this, see if it's working. Might not publish this today, and what I'm thinking I might do is come back in next week and round this off with a lot more. Kind of finish this up. This could be a pretty cool game, and I think hopefully, it's been a good example of what sort of things you can make out of these packages quite quickly. I'm thinking I might need to trim back the density. Yeah, there can be certain things that I kind of want to behave in a lobby in a certain way. Oh, I broke. No, okay. Now I need to wait for my thing to spawn. Hopefully it'll spawn about 30. How are we looking? Errors? No error. Good. And we didn't break time rewind script. That's might get rid of the blue portal that you get, because that seems quite Let's see if this stuff works. So I've just pressed Q. This is my characters. I have got points to spend. Let's see. That works. At level 10, that's good. Hey, crossbow spawns. Just as, it must be set to a minute. Okay, I'm going to adjust that. I'm thinking there's a pretty cool use case for the mighty on a round based thing. So if rounds are long enough, you can kind of build a bit of a like a MOBA. You can kind of build a class that's focused in one. You know, it might be focused more on health or on dex, which will probably make its ranged weapon benefits or strength. I'll give you in a way to award XP as well on kills. Yeah, it's spawning exactly a minute, so exactly when the round ended. Let's say after exactly 10 seconds that should spawn and we can test that stuff. What else can I do? Let's see how easy it is to hook Constitution support for health. I think I've done similar things to this before. I think I did this in my duality game. So we capture. How often do we refer to max HP? Because I'm imagining if we just change it, so on damage it gets used, on init, so it's constantly being adjusted. So if we change max HP based on, it should sort of just get reflected in health bar straight away. So how else can we look at Constitution? Practice that one. Points per level. So that's 0. Minimum number of points allowed on dis. Minimum number of points allowed. Not sure I understand that, but let's see. When off points used manually based on. I think it's just getting very heavy into like kind of classic RPG mechanics. Pretty cool. I'm going to uncheck that. Okay, that hides that stuff. Okay, cool. Baseline value. The baseline value that gives you. Oh, and that. Okay, that's cool. So, is this where? Character sheet. Character sheet. Probably those. I want to see where I. Storing attribute. One thing so open button. I don't think we have a prompt. I'm gonna add a prompt. character sheet message. So get button prompts is called, that's the prompt then. It's called by the prompt system. So if by adding this, I can basically tell it what button it press. So that should give me the little press cue to toggle the character sheet. So I'm still get attribute. Okay, so I can call get attributes from the player. That returns self.attributes of I guess the key is the key we define, so like access. Okay. Getting some. So what I'm going to do is MRPG character attribute. Script. So that should call that function that gets me those attributes back. This is my this is the welcome to my world of just like debugging live on the fly. Hopefully it's interesting. Hopefully it kind of introduces people kind of the thought process behind a lot of this stuff. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm simply just going to print out what the table is telling me. Which is again is another really good way of sort of starting to understand how kind of packages work and how code works. Okay, handy little function there. So basically what I'm saying is for every row in this table, tell me what the key and the value is. So table essentially. So yeah, let's hit play now, and it's when our player spawn, what our player knows are attributes. Then from there, hopefully what I can do is get the specifically the constitution kind of attribute, and then I can use that to guide what the player's max health is. You know, because the player might have chosen to put more points into constitution than things like dexterity and strength, and therefore health. Pretty consistent. We'll get about 30 seconds through the timeout before it loads, so good start. Okay, there we are. I can see the health in it, and then I think it's given me all four of those. Okay, so the attributes are my level, my spare points, my experience, and then also the three things that it's got. So if you change the attributes that the player can have, so not strength, dex, and con, you'll get things there. I can see that it's 11, 11, 15. Got my press Q to toggle character sheet at the bottom as well, so that's good. That's working. So we are 11, 11, 15. Oh, haven't got any point to spend, so I pick that gun up. Ah, yeah. Fact is, I've got a gun. I cannot use this item. That's because I haven't got dexterity. Okay, cool. So that's working. So basically what I've got here is a little system building where I can kind of limit what player can do. So let's think about how we're going to give players experience. Have a look at the code for that. Oh, also, yeah, we'll do that. I'll do the health thing first. Right, so health script. So see that basically if I look for on as my, I can then get the number out. But how am I going to then determine how much more health to give? I guess, again, I've solved all these problems before, but if I do a health bonus level that is a number, and we'll say default of 100. So for every level of constitution, you get an extra 100 health. Level up properties max HP equal health dot HP, so wherever it starts as plus say on my health bonus per level. So that's where so if the key was con, then I know that the value associated with that was 14, or was the number. But yeah. So if I get to level 14, that'll be pretty high. So now let's see, how do I set all those? I want to start at 0 across. Okay, so there's my things set up. I'm wondering why it's given me 14 for the constitution, unless I put some, did I save that against my user already? Unless that's part of the sort of random roll stuff. Okay, right, so let me go back. I mean, this is get 2 points per level. What that comes out as to start with. I need a way to give myself XP, so that's it. What I'm going to do. I think part of oh, okay, that's for like, yeah, seeing how much damage you've done, like a little hitbox thing. See that in the showcase, that's fine. So I need to give stats to the player, so I think that comes in here. There's a function. Experience. There we go. So if I just say onto the receive experience with a value, given value, okay, enough. We'll make it for now. If we interact with this coffin, get some B. Okay, so just for sake of testing, let's make it so when I interact with this coffin, we're basically going to give ourselves 100 XP, and we should hopefully XP increase. You assign these stats on every spawn. Not sure what you mean by that, but I think, yeah, there's some underlying sort of stats things I'm not really ready to do. Obviously, I'm kind of doing this for the first time live. If I had more time, I'd check. Or the package guide is there. You know, maybe the package guide explains a bit more about how a lot of the modifiers and stuff work. You know, it's really well documented. There we go. Yeah, in order to get the character experience points, this, that's exactly what I've done. That's good. But yeah, so I mean, all the stuff we need to know is here. Bonus is, yeah, it's kind of very heavily like Dungeons and Dragons at this point. So, you know, when you have a stat bonus of 10, so like 10 would be pretty high. In this case, I'm trying to like tweak it slightly to be more like a level system. So I kind of want players to level up from 0, and that's where like the bonus really come in. Make much sense. But I think this is the beginnings of a really pretty cool stuff. Okay, so I can't use this because I'm not a high enough level. I'm also XP. Okay, but if I interact this 100 XP, level 2. Okay, hit level 2. Still getting, or how I'm getting the. I've got massive. Yeah, so that seems to have worked. I got 2,600 XP, 2,600 health, and that's because my modifier was kicking an extra 16 health, so that seems to work fine. Wonder what happens if I update my update my constitution. That doesn't update. Okay, so that fine. Can't use this item, but if I open up. Dex is higher than 15, which I think I put the limit as. Yeah, I can use crossbow now. That's because I'm a high enough level, which I think works quite nicely. Okay, I think that's probably about as far as I'm going to get this evening. So yeah, I think I've got a lot of ideas of stuff I want to do. I don't really want to be rushing it too much. Like now that I could add a few more pickups, I could kind of learn a bit more systems, and I could. What I'm thinking of doing is adding some more like kind of luck-based things. So we've got the dice roll package. Look really that, so kind of up some test perhaps with the dice roll beforehand. Could maybe link the Mighty RPG package with that to kind of combine the two to have a roll based on your stats and things. Yeah, there's a lot we can do with that. All wrapped around a pretty kind of hopefully pretty fun, fairly beautiful pack. I mean, the map looks great. You know, it's a really good package if you're looking to make a map quickly. and easily. And you know, given this like really cool idea of having arrows on top to kind of help you from above here visualize exactly kind of the route around the map the player's going to have. Yeah, really cool stuff. So thank you everybody for tuning in. I say it's been a really fun kind of explore of those. There's 3 of the 50 packages that we had created for this jam. So I'd highly recommend people jumping in if you are looking for a new game to make. If you're a little bit stuck for ideas of where you want to go for your project, then really honestly jump in, have a look at the forum for the package guides. Build Jam channel still open up on Discord. Ask people, you know, ask other creators what sort of things they're going to be adding to their packages, perhaps, you know, really start to build these packages out. I think this has probably been easily the most successful build jam we've had in terms of the level of kind of combination from the packages. I think there's a lot of scope here for some really deep, rich, powerful games. Yeah, highly recommend checking out the packages from the jam, and do stay tuned. We're hopefully going to be having the winners announced very shortly. You know, hopefully tomorrow we'll get. Yeah, if you haven't already, head over to Discord. It's discord.g/Crayta. That's going to be the best place to stay up to date with all the latest news and get in touch with the creators' packages they have made. AJ is going to be live tomorrow with a play-along stream. So if you did fancy making something for AJ to play tomorrow, then do jump in onto Discord and let him know what you've been playing. And yeah, we'll be back next week. I think Andy hopefully maybe should be back on Monday next week with another kind of tutorial stream, breaking down something fun, I'm sure. And I'll be live again next Tuesday, hopefully, again with the same sort of stream. I'm going to continue this game, I think. I'm going to crank out a few more ideas and get a few more packages built in, and maybe by the end of next week's stream we'll have a game to play together. So yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in, and I will see you next week.